Hello, I'm Teacher Robin. Welcome to another live streaming class. If this is your first time to join us, let me explain how the classes work. Today, we're going to talk about how to negotiate in English. So if you have a question during the class, you can write your question in the comments, and I'll be checking your comments as we go along. So feel free to write any question that you have, or just to say hello, feel free to write it in the comments. Okay, so today we're going to talk about how to negotiate, specifically in a business setting, although this isn't the only time you might need to negotiate in your life, but we're going to focus specifically on business, and I'm going to give you some key phrases that will be useful to you if you are in a business meeting or a setting at your job where you will have to negotiate something. Okay, so to start, how should we start negotiating? You always want to have a positive attitude, and that is something that the other people who you are talking to will see, okay? You want that to reflect in your conversation. So let's look at a few examples of some positive ways that you can start a conversation when you are trying to reach an agreement, negotiate about something, okay? For example, our goal today is to find a solution that suits both parties. So this phrase, to suit both parties, means that both groups involved are satisfied with the result of the negotiation. Okay, so you're looking for something that makes everyone happy. Okay, and another example, I am sure that today will end in a good deal for both of us. Okay, so if you start out on this positive note, then that kind of sets the tone for the rest of your negotiation. Okay, next, as you are talking about whatever the topic is, you want to make sure that you listen and ask questions if necessary. So, for example, what are we hoping to achieve today? Okay, so make that clear. What is the point of this negotiation? Okay, if you have a question, you can ask someone, could you be more specific? Like, could you give me more details about what it is that you're looking for? Do you have a suggestion? Okay, so you can make suggestions, and then you can ask the other people in the group, do you have suggestions? What are you proposing? Okay, so this is kind of another way to ask that. And how much are you willing to compromise? Okay, so when you compromise something, it means that maybe you give up something that you want in order to get another thing. So when you reach a compromise, it means an agreement where you each kind of give and get something. All right, so these are some different ways that you can actively listen and ask questions during a negotiation. And I see that a few people are joining us already. Hassan, Hamid, and Mofta, say hello. So hello, thank you for joining. I hope this is useful for you. And again, if you have questions, be sure to write them in the comments. Okay, so let's continue. My clicker has not decided to stop working. Just one moment. All right, there we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. Make a proposal, that's next, thank you. So when you have something that you want to achieve, accomplish, you make a proposal to the rest of the group. So for example, from where we stand, an acceptable price would be, okay, so something that you might be negotiating could be price, the price of something that you're going to purchase, etc. Okay, so from where we stand is another way to say, like, on our side, from our opinion, this is what we think would be acceptable. Okay? Another example, our absolute bottom line is, so if you're talking about pricing, for example, that means the lowest that you would pay or the lowest that you would be able to negotiate something. So bottom line is like the end point, the extreme, as far as you will go. Okay? We'd like to make a proposal that will hopefully benefit both sides. Okay, so this is again staying positive when you're talking about making proposals. Or if you want to suggest something else, you can start with, how about if we, okay, so this is kind of like throwing in a new idea. Okay, make a proposal. So sometimes people will make a proposal and it's not satisfactory for you and you have to reject it. Okay, so here are some ways that you can reject someone's proposal while still being polite, in a business kind of setting. For example, I'm afraid it is totally out of the question, which means I'm sorry, I cannot accept what you have just offered. Okay, I understand your point, but, okay, so then you give them the reasons why you cannot accept this, why you have to reject the proposal. I'm afraid we have some reservations on that point. So if you have reservations about something, it means that there are certain points that you are worried about, that you're not sure about. If you have reservations, it means you're not 100% okay with what's been suggested. Okay, another example, I can see what you're saying, but, or I think that we would reach a better agreement. Okay, so here's where you have to actually use those negotiation skills when you reject a proposal. Okay, so if you reject a proposal so that your negotiation is not a disaster, you have to offer a compromise. Okay, so you can actually reach an agreement. For example, we are ready to accept your offer on one condition. So a condition, something that needs to be changed, that needs to be offered in order for you to say yes, okay, I agree. Okay, if you would agree to something, we could reciprocate with or reciprocate by something else. Okay, so here you're offering a compromise. And one last example, on the condition that you do something, we could be persuaded to consider something else. Okay, so these are a little bit more formal. Obviously, if you're in an informal conversation, you might not use these, but in a business setting, this is pretty common, both in written English as well as spoken English, like during a business meeting. Okay, and finally, after you have negotiated and you are happy with what's been proposed, then you can accept the offer. So for example, you can say, I think that's fair enough. So maybe you're not so happy, but you say, okay, that's fine. Fair enough means it's okay for me, it's fine. I couldn't agree more means that you're very happy with what's been decided. Okay, so this is really positive. And another way, I'm happy with this deal. Okay, so after you have reached your agreement, then you'll want to conclude the negotiation. So it's really important to review everything that you've just discussed. Okay, maybe you've written it down and you want to go over it again. So for example, let's look at the points we have agreed on. So then you say, okay, item 1, you're getting this, item 2, I'm getting that, etc. So make sure that it's really clear. Another way to say this is, shall we sum up the main points? So sum up is another way to say review or summarize something. Okay, so let's talk about everything that has just been said. Okay, so now that we've gone through the different steps of negotiation, I want to ask you to participate in the comments. So I want to know about your personal experience with negotiations. If it could be in a business setting at work, or it could be in another setting. Maybe it was renting a flat, or maybe it was coming to an agreement with a friend or with your family or something like that. So tell me about a situation where you had to negotiate something. Okay, did you reach a compromise? Did you reject an offer? Did you make another proposal, etc.? Okay, so how did it go? Tell us some examples of what was said, what you did, and what was the final agreement. Okay, so as you are doing that, I want to tell you more about our course. So if you want to improve your English, especially your business English, you can do that with us here at ABBA. We have a complete course from beginners to business level, and our course consists of 144 units. Each unit focuses on a specific grammar point. So you start with a short film, and then you watch a video class explaining the grammar, and you practice all of your skills in our exercises. So your speaking, reading, writing, and listening is all covered in each unit of our course. So if you want more information about that, you can go to abbaenglish.com, and there you can see all of the packages that we have to offer you with our course. So in addition to our ABBA course, we have many other resources for you that are free that you can use every day to improve your English. So That includes our blog, our ABBA journal. So there you can find articles about all kinds of topics, business related, travel related, more grammar explanations. So you have tons and tons of articles there that you can read to improve your English. And we're also available on all of the social media networks. So Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And we are updating those every day, so check those out if you haven't already, because you can learn something in just a few minutes if you check all of those networks to improve your English with us here at ABBA. Okay, so I see we already have a couple of questions. Kumar wants to know how to improve your written English. Okay, so one thing that you need to do to improve your writing is improve your reading. So if you read some examples of, it depends on what exactly you're wanting to write. Is it a business email? Is it a letter to a friend? Is it a story? Are you looking to become a writer? So depending on the kind of writing you're looking to do, I suggest get a notebook and practice. So give yourself kind of some prompts, like if it's writing an email, okay, I'm going to write an email to my boss asking for this, this, and this. And then you can compare it if you look online, or if you practice with our blog as well. We have lots of writing examples that you can find there, or you can even practice your writing in our course. So there's tons of ways to practice your writing, and the thing that you need to do is to practice a lot. It's one of the more complicated parts of learning a language is to really become a good writer. So that's something that you want to make sure that you practice as often as you can. Don't worry if you make a few mistakes at the beginning, but you will improve as you continue practicing. Okay, are there any other questions at this time? Okay, well, then let me tell you about next week's class. Next week, we're going to focus on learning English with movies. And we've chosen some movies that are great, especially if you have around a B1 English level. So more or less intermediate level, these are movies that you're going to be able to understand the majority of what the movie is saying if you have a B1 English level. So we're going to go through some movie recommendations. There's a variety of different movies, and this is another great way to practice your English, to practice your listening, and you can even practice your speaking as well if you imitate what the actors are saying in the movie. So this is a great way to practice as well. So again, if there are no other questions, then I'd like to encourage you to write them in the comments. If you think of something later, or you're currently writing your answer, then I'll be happy to read your answers later on. I'll be checking Facebook throughout the day. So please do share your negotiating experience in English. And I want to thank everyone who has participated in today's class. I hope it was useful for you, and you can use some of these phrases, keywords in your next negotiation situation. So join us next week when we're talking about movies, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time. Bye.